Well, it began with an attack, armed militants killing with automatic rifles and grenades. Now the crisis in Kenya has evolved into a standoff with hostages' lives at stake. In the last few minutes, the death toll has increased to 68, including 3 Britons. But just how many dead lie in the vast Westgate Mall and how many more are wounded, hiding or held hostage remains unclear. Tonight, security forces are inside the mall exchanging fire with the militants in an effort to end the standoff. In a moment, we'll hear directly from the terrorist group claiming to be behind the attack. But first, James Blake reports on the day's events.
With gunmen still somewhere in the building, the police operation to find people hiding and get them out was urgent and dangerous. It's now 34 hours since the siege began. Today, the military were out in force on the streets. People, including the press, have been kept well away from the Westgate shopping mall. The risk of gunshots from windows is real, and inside, the standoff continues tonight. At the city hospitals, they've set up emergency response teams to cope. Official figures put the numbers of injured at 175. So far, 59 people are known to have been killed. Today, the British government announced 3 of the dead are British.
Well, it is an absolutely sickening and despicable attack of appalling brutality. What we know is that 3 British nationals have been killed. Because the situation is ongoing, we should prepare ourselves for further bad news.
And people are preparing for that. Kenyans have been queuing for hours outside medical centres, waiting to give blood. Some who escaped the shopping mall this morning told how they were forced to hide inside all night.
It's a young man with a gun who was really shooting. When we were trying to get out, there were some few people who actually got injured. Even some died.
The security guard who was just lying next to where I was shot in the head. He died instantly. I saw that actually. Then he shot at me. Unfortunately, the bullet actually, if you look here actually, there was a graze. There was a graze here. Lucky. So he shot at my head, but luckily it hit the wall behind me.
Images have emerged showing bodies of those killed, many too graphic to show. Yet pulling together these and the testimonies of eyewitnesses, it's possible now to form an outline of what happened. The Westgate Mall has shops and cafes over 3 floors. It's thought 2 groups of armed gunmen appeared at the same time from the main entrance and through the outside terrace of a cafe. Reports say they threw grenades into shops before some attackers moved to the upper floors. A few shoppers managed to hide in the basement rooms of a bank, yet photographs show at least 2 were killed in a burger cafe. Tonight it's thought the police operation is now focused on the Nankumat supermarket on the ground floor.
There are between 10 to 15 armed terrorists inside the building, as well as many unarmed, badly shaken, innocent civilians. We have reports of women as well as male attackers. We cannot confirm details on this.
In the past hour, people claim they've seen helicopters landing on the roof of the Westgate Mall and the sound of large explosions. There are reports too that Israeli security forces may now be involved in the operation. But the Somali militant group al-Shabaab have released a warning on Twitter. Kenyan forces who've just attempted a roof landing, it reads, must know they're jeopardizing the lives of all the hostages.
Well, just before we came on air, I spoke to Kamal Kaur, who was attending a children's cookery event in the Westgate Mall. She described to me what happened.
In my corner where I was, I had at least 30, 35 kids with me. Some few adults as well, but lots and lots of children over there. At that very moment, the guys came out. I don't know how many they were at that point because it's a parking lot, so we were trying to shield ourselves around the cars, but it was a corner. People were hysterical, obviously, and they threw 2 grenades at us and they shot at us. Now, while they were shooting at us, my son, who's 8 years old, just barely missed being shot at by about an inch. I was watching all this in horror. My daughter pulled him down, and I was trying to pull the little boy next to him. Unfortunately, it bounced off the wall and it hit him in his neck, in his chest area, and he fell over, bleeding profusely. We all fell downwards. I was telling all the children to lie down flat, just lie down and, not scream or shout and just keep calm.
Kamal Kaur speaking to me just a few minutes ago about the attack.